because I wasn't the best student, I know how to work. So I know how to put my head down and get at the plow and get working. So I can work for hours and be cool. But what kind of reminds me to bring my head up is the fact that I have a wife and kids, to where it's just like, hey, I don't want my relationship with my family, my friends, the people I love most. I don't want to wait till the check engine light comes on to step in. I would much rather be maintaining it in a way, or at least have it planned to maintain.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get to a point where it's like, okay, you're successful in your business, but your marriage is in shambles. Or like, hey, you just launched this new e-learning, but you got to go ahead and start doing this counseling. Nothing wrong with counseling, but you got to do this counseling because you've been neglecting your first ministry. I think for me, it was the death of my grandfather, and I've spoken about it before. Kind of like on a twofold. So my grandfather passed in October of 2015, correct?
2015, October 2015.
So when he passed, I kind of experienced like, it was like a long process because he had started deteriorating. He had, whatchamacallit? Parkinson's.
Yeah, Parkinson's.
And like sort of like developing dementia, like Alzheimer's, right? Mm-hmm. And so we kind of knew that eventually there'd be a day. And I remember there was one day, it was really cool to see like all his siblings were here. And like he gave like Donald, it was like almost like a movie. He gave Donald the blessing. But nah, man, I just seen with my grandfather, one of the lessons that I've learned is just making sure you take care of business, like Donald was saying. Because I've spoken about it before here on the podcast, but to see him to be able to bless his children and his children's children did something for me. It's like, I want that. Let me climb on your shoulders, Grandpa, and take that to the next level. And so that's one lesson. Another lesson too is just cherishing the moment, because a couple months later, like less than a year later, my stepmom's mother passed. And so for me, Mom Betty had always been sick. And like, I remember I got married like a month or two before. She went in the hospital July 3rd, I believe, or July 4th. I can't remember, that weekend. And I'm thinking, Mom Betty's cool. She'll be in there, but she popped right back out. She didn't come back out. And so it was one of those things where it's like, do I wish I would have spent more time with you? Like, who doesn't when they lose somebody? But at the same time, I was like, man, you really got to cherish each and every moment. And I think back and I think about how, with it being my stepmother's mother, how much she embraced me and my little brother. And it's like, I learned so much just in that short amount of time. I mean, we've known her since we were young, but like in that short amount of time, how much she taught us because of her generosity and her love. And I'm like, if I could be as generous as her, if I could love as much as she is. And like, even seeing how she affected her husband, bro.
Yeah.
Papa's rigid. Papa's old school. And like, he's really, you think he's super grumpy because of how he talks, but like, dude, he loves hard, for real. And so, like, a lot of things that he does to honor his wife.
Yeah.
Hey, I spoil my grandkids because I love my wife so much. And so, those are some of those two things. Just mainly just cherishing time and making sure my affairs are in order.
Yeah.
I told Erica, I'm like, go ahead and cremate me. You don't need to buy no casket.
Right, bro, right. That is so ridiculous, man.
Turn me into a diamond.
The business of life. Goodness.
I think greatest lessons that I've learned, man, is so many. But one of the things that, like, I guess I'll go into like a little moment, a little like mini lesson that I learned recently was it was back in January 2018. It was shortly after our daughters were born, because John and our oldest daughters, they're 10 days apart. And I remember the first movie me and Nadia went to go see was Black Panther. I told you about this already, Jonathan.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Did I tell you about this? Mm-mm. The first movie we went to go see was Black Panther, but this wasn't we didn't go with the church. This was out in Concord, and it was Nadia, it was my mom, it was both my brothers, it was my in-laws. We straight. It was my in-laws, man. It was just the whole squad. We took up a whole row at the movie theater, right? And my daughter has just been born, and we out here chilling, and T'Challa and M'Baku just get done fighting, right? They scrapping in the pond or whatever. T'Challa wins, and then they go and bury him and have this little ritual where he's able to go back and talk to his dad, right? Mm-hmm. Woo. Bruh, I'm sitting back, I'm watching it, and instantly I'm kind of like enthralled into the character. Like, I'm T'Challa talking to my dad. The first thing that T'Challa says to his dad was, I'm not ready to be without you, right? And his dad said, he said, it's every father's responsibility to prepare his children for the day he dies.
Yeah.
Bruh. Yeah. That was like, there was a well drilling. You know what I'm saying? It was drilling and it hit water, bro. And I'm in a movie theater boo-hoo crying between my brother-in-law and his oldest daughter, right? And Nadia looks down the thing at me. And she gets up, and I go and I sit in between my mom and my brothers, because I'm sitting back and I'm thinking like, dang, I definitely felt like it was premature the way he left. But if I was able to have that conversation with him, and if my father were to ask me, because then after that he said, "Have I failed you, my son?" That's what, "Have I failed you, my son?" I was like, I wouldn't be able to tell my dad, that he had failed me, because I believe that the time that we spent was quality, and quality enough to where, he's imparted so many gifts in me and so many life lessons in me that, I do believe that I was prepared for him to leave. I just wouldn't have wanted it to be so soon. But the greatest lesson that he taught me that I want to make sure that I instill into my children is you can do anything you want to do. That was the one major lesson that I got from him that he made sure he told me over and over again was, Josh, you could be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
You could be an astronaut. You could be the president. You can be a baseball, NFL. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. You can be a scientist. You could be a lawyer. And he would tell me over and over again till I really started to believe it. And I feel like that's what he needed to leave me with before he actually left. And that's something that I want to impart into my children. Because, you see that's like even with Genius, like it's very clear that Donda gave that to Kanye.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like those are the type of lessons that you want to give your kids so that they can walk into greatness, whatever it may be.
And what's awesome about that, man, is that's proof of why that scripture is probably your favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like it's proof of, because God was in the midst of that. Even with the tragic loss of your father.
Yeah. So
early on that God was in the midst of that, working it all together for your good. You know what I'm saying? For your good and for his glory at the end of the day. Definitely for me, a huge turning point was the death of our grandfather. Definitely. Because before he passed, toward the end, I was going, number one, I'm working full time and I'm going to school full time during that time. And I'm talking about in the midst, because toward the end he started, he lost most of his mobility toward the end. And so I remember getting called 4:00 in the morning, and grandma was like, "Hey, can you come over and pick up your grandpa? He fell because he was going to the bathroom and didn't make it back to bed." So I get up, get dressed, and run over to the house and scoop him up. My grandfather wasn't a little dude. He's like a big dude. He's like 6 foot. You know what I'm saying? Big dude. So I'm picking him up and putting him back in bed and stuff like that. And just doing all the things that when our elders get to that age and that stage of things, just helping out, and everything. And for me, it was a huge turning point because one of the things was like I knew my grandfather. My grandfather had a lot of pride. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot for him to come from where he came from and kind of end up at this stage of life. But the thing is that he had people that loved him, that were around him, that wanted to take care of him. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a huge thing for me. So much so that when he passed and it had such an impact on me that I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to finish school because I'm like 6 months away from graduating. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I don't know. And typically, because I'm doing distance learning at the time, this is before distance learning became a thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking these courses online and I'm like, you know, the rate of failing those courses and stuff is super high. Like, rarely does anybody ever go through the entire program and pass every course. And so I was like, man, at this time I had all this stuff going on. I had every excuse to be like, man, yeah, no, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm working full time. I'm raising a family. I got 4 kids. They playing football, doing cheerleading, you know what I'm saying? Doing all this stuff. My grandfather's dying. All this, you know what, man, I'm gonna just go ahead and take a break and step back. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm 6 months out, and education and opportunity were always a big thing to my grandfather. Huge. Like, that was part of the reason why he was a career man in the military, and he retired from the military because he wanted his kids to have the greatest opportunities possible to succeed. He grew up in one of the which I didn't find out until I was in school and I was doing history, that he grew up in one of the most racist regions and counties in America back in the day. And I don't know if it's still today too, but anyhow, definitely during his time it was dangerous. You know what I'm saying? You talking about matter of life and death. You know what I'm saying? Sundown town. Yeah. You know what I mean? And for him to go into the military, make a career out of it, create all these opportunities for his family, then come all the way to the east. I mean, come all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast and just go ahead and put your flag in the ground and be like, this is gonna be home, right? Yeah. It's a huge thing, man. It's no small task. It's a lot of courage and bravery that it takes to do something like that. So he had a huge impact on me in making decisions of you know, trying to set my family up for success, man, and just to persevere. Yeah. Period. And so, you know, long story short, I was able to graduate. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, I was able to have my mom and my grandma be there with me because I went and walked the stage with my class in 2016, man. So he had a huge impact as far as that's concerned. Yeah, man. I owe a lot to my grandfather.
Straight up.
Man.
Giants.
It definitely is inspiring, you know, just hearing about all the stories, you know, with our grandparents. Because I feel like I used to make the joke, I'm like, if you're black in this area, generally your family's like from the South. I don't know what it is. It's just like either they were like Air Force or like they did probably the Navy because they used to have the naval base out in Oakland.
Right. Yeah. Or they from Oakland.
Or they from Oakland. Right. Or you just from Richmond with the southern accent.
Right. Bro, that is so crazy to me, man. We got cats from Richmond that sound like they from like Louisiana somewhere, man. Right. And that's so crazy. Cause like you talk to Papa, you automatically gonna think he like, nah, I'm from Richmond.
I'm from Richmond.
I'm from Richmond.
But hilarious. Yeah, man. I'm thinking about it like a lens of gratefulness, right? Yeah. Taking the opportunity to see what God is doing in the details, like you had said before. What I wanted to ask you guys is one of the things that I've been thinking about as far as being busy, you know, Donald, you're busy now taking on, you know, laying your father to rest, kind of taking the lead in that. And I'm directing this towards everybody. Do you guys leave yourself enough margin to have that moment for gratefulness? Now, Donald, I know you are for sure. But one of the things that my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, Eugene Terry, the guy I look like, tells me is like one of those hard conversations that I've had is every now and again, if I don't really quite get what's going on in my life, he'll go like this. And when I tell people this, they're like, what does that mean? He's like, you're too close to it. He's like, when you're so close to it, you don't really know what's going on. But if you take a step back, you start to see the bigger picture. And so my question to you guys is, like, do you ever take a step back to see the bigger picture? One of the things, like my stepfather is really big about, he's in ministry too. We have a lot of the same skills as far as production goes, believe it or not. But he's always really on me about, hey, man, these are like one of the most cherished time you need to have with your kids. He's like, I know you're grinding. I know you got the business. I know you do youth ministry and you're on production. You play drums, do a little bit of everything. He's like, don't forget to at least put stuff down and do stuff for your kids. You never want to be in the moment where you're providing for somebody else's kids and you don't even provide for your own kids. Right. And so are you guys currently, and this is, I guess I'm forcing a moment of transparency.
Yeah.
Are you guys currently making or setting margin for that? Like, hey, I set some time maybe in the day to reflect. I get that notification on my Apple Watch. Take a moment to reflect on your day. I'm like, dude, Siri, shut up. Like, look, it's reading me right now. But yeah.
Moment of transparency on the Watch Me Develop podcast. Watch me
alert,
develop. Alert.
This is the Watch Me Develop. Watch Me Develop. Moment of transparency.
Hey, and I know my wife is watching this, so I'm gonna keep it 100. As of lately, I think I've been telling y'all that this season, within the last month and a half, ever since we got product, it's been, things around the house have been off balance, and we're trying to weigh, just find a new balance of family, work, business, the kid. It's a lot that we're trying to juggle right now. And if I'm honest with you, as far as margin, I'll say no. I definitely need more margin to be grateful. However, we have a plan, because I was telling you earlier, last week Nadia and I had a moment where we were just running into issues daily, and it was just about not actually connecting. She's going through what she's going through throughout the day, and I'm going through what I'm going through. We're never actually talking about what we were both experiencing and how we can serve each other throughout our day. But the common ground that we came to was, while we may not have much quantity of time together, we need to make sure that our time is more quality. So we set aside a certain time throughout the day where the phone goes down, and I need to make sure that I'm available in this season no matter what, which is, for us, is dinner, prepping for dinner time, and laying the kids down for bed, and then the time afterwards, 6 to 8 p.m. We need to make sure that we're there and we connect at that point. And then also just getting on the calendar. We got day for me and Soul to get out, just me and Soul, and a day for me and Nadia to just get out, on the calendar, right. So scheduling it in. That's me.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd say for me, man, I'm doing horrible as far as margin is concerned. I'm just, because I got so much stuff going on. I mean, I think the way that I've been trying to make up for that, I guess, with the fact that I'm I have this sense of urgency that there's not enough time, and because that's one of my favorite tracks off the Happy Thoughts album is I Wish There Was More. You know what I'm saying? More hours in the day. So what I find myself doing is trying to get my kids to be more active as far as utilizing their gifts and their talents. So I'll shoot Wisdom. She's into, she wants to do media and photography and cinematography. So I'll send her, and there's no accident why she has the best phone in the house. But
I didn't notice that.
I'll shoot, yeah, she got the new stuff. So I text her during the day and say, hey, capture something beautiful. You know what I mean?
Dope.
I'll send her that text as a reminder. You know what I'm saying? So I'm killing two birds with one stone. One, I'm trying to encourage her to do something that she's passionate about, and also to let her know that I'm thinking about her. You know what I'm saying? With Jericho, with him, I'm pretty good about it because it's a little bit easier because we get up in the morning and we go to the gym.
Right.
So I'm spending some time with him and encouraging him, and you know. I got him to trust me and buy into getting up early in the morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know it sucks because I think it sucks. I don't like getting up early in the morning, but for me, I'm like, man, if this will be just enough of a push to get him to get to where he needs to be, then I'm all for it. I'm willing to lose the sleep. Even if I did go to bed super late the night before, I'm still going to get up. And if he's not up at that time, I'm going in his room and I'm slapping him on his naked back and making sure he gets up. So he can do it, man, because these are the things that he's going to remember when he gets there, and he's going to be like, man, I'm glad my dad did this. And so, you know, that's kind of like where my margin is. Or like with Rayma. Rayma is, you know, she's the artist creative. And so I'm like, hey, draw something beautiful today. When it comes to Ivy, like I'll shoot him like a screenshot of like a meme or something from like a producer account that I follow or something, just to encourage him, man. But and then of course, like with my wife, you know, of course there's a little bit more margin there, but not anywhere near as much as there should be, man. I could always spend more time with my wife, quality and quantity of time.
100, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of times. But one thing I do make sure of is that we're not just like ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we always talk, even if it's just pillow talk. You know what I'm saying? We make sure that we talk and communicate.
Right.
So
I'm hecka distracted today because all of a sudden I heard, "Can we talk for a minute?"
Yeah.
I know for me, man, just talking about lessons again. My dad can be super like intense sometimes. He has his moments, but he says, there's moments to be tactical and there's moments to be strategic. Basically saying like, I think, you know, in today's day and age, especially with our culture, being business owners, being people that aspire to do things great, is we think that you got to go 100% every time all night. Team no sleep, all the stuff, like all the different things, right?
Yeah.
And I think what kind of becomes like the kind of fallacy behind that is, and that's why I asked you guys these questions about, hey, grief happens. We lose family members. Life happens. What do you do then? Are you still 100%? Do you not feel? And so that's why I thought it was like a really important topic to talk about. I know for me, going back to like what my dad was saying, I'm all for going 100%. I think for me, I realized as a teenager, I wasn't the best student. I wasn't the best studier, but it's kind of ironic now that I'm an adult. I'm a better student and like I study more because I realize how valuable it is now. Yeah. But I also realized too that like because I wasn't the best student, I know how to work. So I know how to put my head down and get at the plow and get working. So I can work for hours and be cool. But what kind of reminds me to bring my head up is the fact that I have a wife and kids to where it's just like, hey, I don't want my relationship with my family, my friends, the people I love most. I don't want to wait till the check engine light comes on to step in. I would much rather be maintaining it in a way, or at least have a plan to maintain.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get to a point where it's like, okay, you're successful in your business, but your marriage is in shambles. Or like, hey, you just launched this new e-learning, but you got to go ahead and start doing this counseling. Nothing wrong with counseling, but you got to do this counseling because you've been neglecting your first ministry.
Right.
And so I just bring that up just kind of to ask because I want to know for myself too, man. Like, what are you guys doing? Because like, I want to be strategic in the point where it's just like, hey, I'm in the mindset too because I do get busy to be like, hey, I want to be intentional about this because I care about it. So I want to care about the margin in my life. I know that there's a season to work and there's a season to rest, but at the same time, it's like, okay, like as of late, me and my wife have been like talking about it. She's been really on my head. She's like, I know it says Butcher Media Design. She's like, but this is our business. She's like, I want to be just as involved in it as you are. Wow. She's like, I know I don't have the videography skills, the photography skills, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she's like, I don't know if y'all saw this week, we dropped the whole voiceover thing.
That was fire.
Because those are two skills that we've learned to do over the years. And so she's like, this is how I'm going to contribute. And so, like, us being strategic with that and just kind of talking about, like, I told you off camera about quality time. And it shocked me because I've been trying to get her to watch anime for, like, months now. Because, we always talking about it at Elevate. And she's like, okay, I'll watch Attack on Titan with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right then, we good. Let's go, Erica, let's go. Bruh, we almost 3.5 seasons in Attack on Titan. But
hey, shout out to you, Erica,
when she told me, she's like, I can't do it. Don was like, I ain't doing it. But when she told me, she's like, hey, it's not about the show. It's about me spending time with you. That's what made me go, check engine light. Okay, I need to check that.
Yeah.
And I need to make sure my oil's being changed before I wait until, there's damage being done. Emotional damage.
Why do I feel like that's going to be the name of that episode? Check engine light.
Check engine light. Perfect. Hey, check engine light. Episode, 7, 8? I don't know.
Funny. Nah, that's true, man. It's funny that you say that because that's the similar conversation I've had with Raquel in regard, like, to business. Because there was one point in time where I was like, so... like, okay, as the man of the household, I have to be in control of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, nah, man. Like, you guys are co-heirs. You guys are, you guys are one. Mm-hmm. So, and for me, it's a thin line between the projects that I'm working on, and because I'm always like with the big reveal. I like the big reveal. Of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And
man, just dropped a project out of nowhere. I'm like, bro, you tell me nothing.
No,
like,
I'm just saying,
like,
yeah, I'm like I like the big reveal, but a lot of times what ends up happening is that because I'm so used to doing stuff on my own and by myself that I miss out on opportunities for people that want to help, specifically my wife. You know what I'm saying? There's she being the helpmate, she wants to help and that in operating function in the position, and I deprive her of that when I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm depriving her of her God-given position and her call in my life when I don't share with her the details, when I don't dream with her. And that's one of the most awesome things that I'm learning to do at this point is to dream with her.
That's
not just dream myself and be like, okay, yeah, I want you to be part of this. But no, like, we're doing this together. We're dreaming together. What do we want our future together to look like?
Right.
And so definitely, like, when it comes to the business aspect of things, that she's just as much a part of it as I am, even if her skill set is different than what mine is, right?
Yeah.
Or even if the only thing that you do at one point, which we will be, if only you're writing the checks and signing the checks, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. This business is just as much yours as it is mine.
Right.
So when you got?
Huh?
What you got?
Oh no, I was trying to pull this towards.
I mean, almost close to wrapping up, but I got one more question for y'all.
Hey, bro, your questions are fire today.
I appreciate it.
Going deep beneath the surface.
Hey, for sure.
Hey, you set the precedent before the camera started rolling. So
right.
But as a platform for accountability or a platform for us to kind of grow together, watch us develop, how can I help you guys? That's my heart. Ultimately, is like helping people. That's my my disc assessment. I'm all S. I'm all in. How can I help serve you? How can I help your guys' vision, or at least be able to flick a nickel into the pond? Something like.
What say you, Josh?
What say you? What say I? I'm not gonna lie, Jay. What you do here for this, I don't even want to like do that. Like, oh, you do, but for real, bro. Like, what you do with this podcast, and getting this content out, how you do, like, I look forward to the podcast. I feel like just as much as our audience does, you know, if not, because I don't see this. Like, whenever this conversation comes, I don't see the editing process.
I be forgetting. I forget what we even talked about.
You know what I mean?
Because I be like, I've been the same way. I'm like, yeah, it's about to premiere tonight, and I'll be like, yeah. So I wonder what's gonna be. What it's gonna be?
And I've heard it 1,000 times.
I don't even know until you like edit the snippet that's gonna be for the show that night,
bruh. And then when I see this snippet, I'm like, yo, this is fire. Yeah. Like, we official, you know what I mean? So nah, for real, bro. Like, as far as what you do here, man, because you putting in a lot of time, you know, it doesn't go unseen. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't even. And then, you know, just if you ever have any constructive criticism for anything that I'm doing, just like let me know. You know what I mean? Don't ever just say yes. Be like, hey, bro, you could do this better, and I'll accept that. That's all. Let me. How can I help you?
Stop.
How can we
look,
help?
Man,
you?
hey, look, man. We're gonna establish this right now that Josh and I will take the 33% each, and you can have the 34. We'll just go ahead.
The point 66.
You'll have the 34. The 34. Nah, man, I would say, man, I agree with Josh, man. I think that what you're doing is we wouldn't be able to do this without you, man. Like, that's a huge part, man. Like I was telling you the other day, bro, I haven't been on socials like so much ever in my life. And I've had, you know, I've had an account for quite some time. And so it feels it's a whole it just hits different when you got something, when you're a contributor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It hits different when you got something that you know that you can contribute. You're not just a spectator any longer. Now we're actually in the game. You know what I'm saying? And so we wouldn't be able to be in the game like we are without, you know, your skill set and what it is you're doing, man. So I think you're doing great. I'd say for me personally, as far as like on the music aspect, I'm definitely going to be probably sending you the projects to mix, or at least like have you mix it with me, because dude, I'm like a huge overthinker. I mess around. I'll be like all them joke videos that they post on all the producers.
Right. And that means they have me weak.
Yeah, where they get, especially one where they playing like Earth, Wind and Fire, and it'd be like, and then it sound like somebody playing it on a kazoo when you go listen to the final mix on it, and be like, man, I just end it all right now.
Right.
Nah, man, but what would you say that you need from us that would, you know?
I mean, I would hate to keep, you know, just the honor circle keep going. But no, I'm being dead serious right now. I'm being dead serious. So I currently, you talking about being on social media lately, like I've been having to be disciplined to set my phone down when I'm talking to my wife. Open and honest. I'm managing my personal page.
Elevate.
Mm-hmm. Watch Me Develop, Butcher Media. I let the building go. I was like, just take it.
Take this on.
Yeah. But I think a part of me is competitive too, but watching you guys create content inspires me to create content. And like, it's like a cycle of just inspiration for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, what y'all are doing is great. Obviously, you know, I'll make the cuts seamless in the edit, but we're gonna need to get a hard drive soon. Cause I got a hard drive back there, but bro, it's like, I'm not made for this. I ain't built for this.
Yeah.
But that's it, man.
What about you, Josh? What is there that I could offer you that could help?
Dang, bro. I really don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? And like what you're just talking about, because for real, bro, like I was saying, the O-Darks, bro. The O-Dark, literally, I kid you not.
He literally branded that for you.
I'm literally, bro, I'm seeing it. There was, what? The other day, Soul woke up, it was like
Marty Bird of the O-Darks.
Marty Bird.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
But no.
Deep cut.
Soul woke up at 3:30 in the morning. This thought ran through my mind. I should stay up and catch Donald on the O-Dark
For 3 hours?
Bro, I don't know what time he wakes up. I was just like, I'm going to see the alert come through on my phone. You know what I mean? And it's prepping me to, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna get back into that. I'm gonna get back because what you said, bro, in that podcast when you was like, don't let the kid in you kill the king in you, bro. Like, do the things that are most difficult to do first thing in the day so that everything else is easier. But that resonated with me.
Yeah.
So just like you said, I think what it comes down to is iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what's happening here. And you guys are so extremely supportive. You know what I mean? Like, I know when something drops, like, man, I got squad. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got squad. You
Yeah.
know?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Comment.
So it's like, honestly, I need to do better. But yeah, man, 3-strand rope's not easily broken. I just feel
Absolutely.
like we got something good here.
Amen to that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, man. I'm glad I got this. You know, I got to do this with you guys. So much. You know, like I said, we've been talking about doing it. I know at least I've been talking and mentioning to you guys about doing a podcast for like years now, and so you know, for me it was just like at the ending of last year, I was like, man, for sure I'm doing it this year. I'm doing it 2022. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull the trigger on it, but I definitely felt in my heart that I was like, I'm not supposed to go it alone. Mm-hmm. And that was actually one of the things that pieces of advice that I had read in one of the books that I was reading was like, man, don't go it alone. Don't go it alone. And so for me, I was like, man, you know what? I got brothers in my camp that are also in pursuit of building a legacy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, so it only makes sense that we like, use this as a means and a reason to hold each other accountable. So like you guys have been describing, it's a whole push-pull. Like we pushing each other and we pulling stuff out of each other at the same time. Yeah. Stuff that we might not even know was really even there to begin with. And so definitely, because like for me, I'm a more private person. I don't really like being in front of cameras. I don't really like especially when I'm doing like the O-darks, as you call it, man. I don't really like doing that. I don't mind seeing some people do it, but then again, I also see people that probably shouldn't be doing it that do it, and that's what irks me. And I don't want to be that person.
You don't want to be that guy.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not that guy.
I don't want to be that guy. So, but that's that's that inner critical voice. You know what I'm saying? That's doing it. But I also know at the same time that. In my area of expertise, that I have some wisdom to share, man, and that's all it is I want to help people and encourage people. And if it helps you at 3:00 in the morning when your kids wake you up and you like kind of like, okay, what now? You know what I'm saying? Or my life sucks right now. Well, here's some encouragement. At that time.
For real.
So, yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Iron sharpens iron. Encouraging people to be encouraged, discouraging people from being discouraged. That's what this is about. Watch Me Develop podcast.
That was a beautiful bowl you just did there. I like that. I liked what you just did there. Subscribe. Don't be viewing the content, not subscribing to the pages now.
Right.
We need to see y'all. I read analytics. I'm organized this year. 2022 is my year, okay? No.
Yeah, no, man. Thank you guys for joining us. This is another episode of Watch Me Develop podcast. We will see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.
Silenzio Bruno.
Silenzio Bruno.